Hello, I'm here with Meghan Ali. Thanks very much for joining me, Megan.
Thanks so much for having me on your show, Dylan. I'm delighted to be here.
It's the pleasure's all mine. So I suppose just to kind of get things started, can you start by kind of introducing us to yourself and your music and just kind of giving us the introduction to what you're all about?
For me, always started off with writing. So I didn't kind of go straight into music writing. I kind of got the kind of music side to it, and then
Yeah.
I got bought a guitar, and then it just took off from there. And I have never there's never been a dull moment. There's always a guitar in hand or a pen in hand, and I've just been writing since. So it went from there.
How would you describe your music though to someone that hadn't heard it before?
Um, I think it would be kind of a folk pop. I do love the folky side to music, kind of the
Yeah.
tradition. And I do love kind of telling stories within my songs. So I think when you listen to the lyrics of my song, you'd find that.
So you mentioned that, it started with writing your own music, but how did you kind of transition over time to actually performing your own songs?
Oh, that took a lot. That took away and a lot of courage. But I suppose my circle of friends, they're all very talented, fly on the wall for ages, and then I suppose watching them from the sidelines, I kind of
Mm.
and them pushing me out of my comfort zone. I found my way into the spotlight eventually. And I think once you kind of get over your first public performance, you kind of set yourself up to do a few more.
And how did that first performance come about?
Do you know what? It was a simple thing of like it could have been a gathering in a house, having a session, something so simple. Uh, but we can't, and I can't wait to go back to those days where we can all meet up and
Yeah.
have those music sessions at home. Feels weird talking about them now.
Mm.
Um, but I think it was kind of like, someone be like, "Oh, give us a song," and
Okay.
I did amazingly, and it was amazing. And I kind of what I loved was the improv of it all, is musicians bouncing off each other, and you'd have a guitar, and next thing you have the fiddle playing an instrumental, and you never know what way the song's going to play out. Um, when someone comes along and plays on the track with you, and brings their own kind of style to it, you're like, oh, that's really cool. So I always loved that kind of like improv side of things.
And was there a particular moment where there was kind of this spark where you thought to yourself, I can make something of this? Or was it kind of a gradual thing that happened over time?
I think it was a gradual thing for me over time, because again, I was always, and that be that. But then I kind of set my songs up to a producer up in Dublin called Billy Farrell, and I started working on more songs with him, and I kind of put together an album. So I'm kind of releasing them single by single, which is the Mystic Forest one I think I sent on to you.
Yeah.
And from there, being able to hear myself on it and working with him kind of gave me the courage to be like, oh no, I could actually um, kind of be a singer songwriter and hold my own on stage.
Okay. That seems like quite a journey, to be honest. You went from kind of, I suppose, more modest kind of um ambitions, in terms of writing, and then actually going up to performing your own singles and releasing your own album. So, how
Yeah.
how quickly has that happened for you? Like, has that been like a very quick thing from your point of view?
For me, I've been working on this album for the last 4 years, so it's been
Okay, so
slow and steady.
yeah, okay.
So yeah, so it's kind of like on the track, and even getting them kind of up to Dublin just to record their parts. I took my time with it because I kind of wanted to serve each song. I wanted to do it kind of in a way that I felt it kind of deserved it to go
Yeah,
like.
yeah.
Um, so for me, I was like, it was worth waiting.
So, and does it feel surreal now, the fact that the album is due to release very soon?
It's weird because the songs are normally in my head. I'm kind of
Yeah.
hearing them, um, like in my own world, you know. So now everyone else can hear them, which I still find bizarre. Like you, soon enough, you'll be able to go on Spotify and, you know, be able to show your songs, and that to me is just so precious.
Yeah, and obviously this collection has been in the works for some time. You know, I feel like some artists kind of have this thing. I don't know if there's a name for it, but you know, with your music, does it sound different when it's coming from somewhere else? Like, does it sound differently in your own head than it does when you actually listen to it out loud?
Oh, like for me, it sounded so much better than
Really?
what was in my head. But that's all because of the people you surround yourself with when you do a project.
Yeah.
So I think once, like, I had the idea of doing the project, I had written the album, the foundation of it. But I suppose when you get down to the detail and when you have the right people, the song just, I just absolutely found that process magical.
Yeah, and do you think that it was a lot of work, I suppose, to bring out an album? You know, it's one thing to kind of write all the songs and to, I suppose, make out a plan, but when it comes to actually from a project management point of view, do you think that it's a difficult experience to get an album out there?
Yeah, there's a lot to it. Well, and times and recording dates and things like that.
Yeah.
I had also a full-time job as well, so I was kind of coordinating a few things. So
Mm.
um, I'm as I would say, I'm physically very poor but emotionally rich
Okay.
from doing the album.
And a lot of people,
But it is time well spent, and it's the album's going to last longer than me.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I just think it's something I'll never regret.
Mm. You know, I was just going to say there, a lot of people say to me that they, I get kind of very mixed opinions on this. A lot of people say to me that they have a hard time with the business side of things, you know, getting the album out there or getting the music out there, sending it to radio stations, that kind of thing. What's your opinion on that whole thing? Is it a different field, let's say, than what you're used to, or is it just kind of part of the process?
Dylan, would you mind just repeating that there? Because your screen froze on me.
Sorry, I was just saying that a lot of musicians have difficulty with, let's say, the business side of things, promoting their music, getting it out there to radio stations and the like. And I was just wanting to know what your opinion is on that.
I think at the moment, I suppose musicians are kind of in the recording phase of projects at the moment because that's all you kind of can do
Yeah,
in this climate, you know. So I think we are saturated with new releases and stuff. Um, but for me, I think it's knowing the right people isn't on social media, finding new ways of getting your music out there makes a difference. You know, you can't. I don't think you can just put out a song and expect views straight away. You know, you kind of have to work that bit harder, kind of have an
of
edge
course.
over other people. You know, get creative. And there's a reason why people do a degree in marketing. You know, so. Hats off to any musician who's making it work because it's a difficult time to be in when releasing music. I can't stress it enough to make it easier.
So would you agree then, you know, if you're going about releasing your own music, you're in it for the long haul. It's kind of a long-term commitment.
I think if you're always a musician, like it's never something
Okay.
that's going to leave you.
Okay, fair enough. So in terms of the album itself, can you give us a bit of an outline as to what the album is all about?
It's a mix of what is kind of a mix of some kind of jazz songs as well. So it's kind of a hard one to nail down. But I think every song there's a story behind it, which I like.
Mm.
And there's also different people on it. So I've had my brother is actually singing it on one of the tracks with me as well, called Whiskey Neat. I have another friend, Cian Dalton, singing on another track, and Owen. So it was kind of lovely, kind of get my friends involved, and some of them mightn't have experience of kind of going into recording studio, putting their vocals down, and it was they got such a kick out of it. And the fact that they didn't know how good they were, I was getting a kick out of, because I loved their voices on some of my songs, especially with some of the duets I did. And then you'll hear songs where it's just my vocal on it, like Mystic Forest, and you'd hear the violins. I think the fiddle plays a key role in most of my songs.
Yeah.
Either I'd have the guitar lines or the fiddle lines in my head, and then I kind of build the song around those instruments, kind of.
Just kind of on that, is there any particular names that come to mind for you when you think of particular artists that were an influence?
For me, it would be the local musicians that I'd listen to. Like I'd call-ins, I'd always go to gigs there.
Yeah.
Because the gigs are kind of what's mainly accessible to me. And I loved seeing the interaction of musicians kind of bouncing off each other with songs. So I always felt like the likes of like Claire Sands, Aisling Irwin, Anna Mitchell, the band Tukin. I'm big fans of those local bands. I just love it. Regarding bigger bands, I think Stevie Nicks, Fleetwood Mac would be one of my top favorites.
Sorry, could you repeat what you just said there at the end? I kind of missed the end there.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry, I just missed the end of what you said there.
Yeah, I said other bands would be like Stevie Nicks from Fleetwood Mac. She'd be another one of my favorites.
All right, okay. So, in terms of, this album has been a very long time coming. It might be too early to say, but do you have any plans for the future?
I suppose try get rich. Keep trying.
I suppose looking forward in terms of any future projects you might have, it seems like the whole kind of collaborative aspect, bringing in friends and family and into your music has been a strong part of this album. So is that something that you want to keep going in the future?
Yeah, I love involving all my friends and family on the tracks. It just brings another dimension to the songs, I think. And I think people do bring a lot to creations, are kind of what I get a kick out of the most.
Is there any specific plans for the future in terms of new music being released, or is it a bit too early to say at this point in time?
There is a single coming up, so I'm really excited about that. Mystic Forest is going to be released on the 5th of March. So as you said, it's been a long time coming. So I've been patiently waiting for this day, and I decided 5th of March to, I suppose, get one of the songs on the Judgment Day album out there.
Okay. Given the fact that we're still obviously in this pandemic and all that kind of thing, do you think that's made it more challenging to get your music out there, or is it just kind of, I suppose, what we're experiencing at the minute?
I think it is challenging, because I did say that I think right now all social media is nearly flooded, and music perform, so that's their kind of way of performing now. In saying that, you've Robert Grace, who's after making a name for himself during lockdown, with his song Fake Fine. So it is very possible, and I think if you are very talented, that always does shine through. And he was very creative with his videos on TikTok, so there you go.
Yeah, I suppose there's always kind of another way of getting around restrictions, I guess, and getting yourself out there. So yeah, we're almost out of time, I'm afraid. But just before we go, if people are looking online, where can they find you?
You can find me on my website, www.meganalimusic.com. It's Megan with a H as well. It's very awkward, I know. And also you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all those type of platforms.
Right, so this is Meghan Ali. Watch this space, because hopefully plenty more to come in the near future. Thanks a million for coming on, Ali. I appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Dylan.